Since Spacies.
G'day invaders, welcome to Spacies, and today I want to talk about how did I get my job at Sega all those years ago. Now, way back in 1990, I was big into video games. I don't have to explain that. You guys probably could have guessed that. We couldn't look at games online. We didn't have online. Online wasn't even a concept back then. We had no video TV shows to look at either. There was just no media on video games, which was kind of weird considering how big gaming was. But there was one media format that we got into, and that was magazines. And I just lapped up magazines as much as I could. I would always be going out and buying the latest copies of anything that had video games on the front. I'd be buying it, and I'd be absorbing that content as much as I could. I'd be on the bus reading through all the latest magazines to check out what games are coming out, etc. And I just really got obsessed with that format. And in late 1990, I made a decision. I'm going to write my own video game magazine. So with the very limited tech that I had available to me, I wasn't in a rich family or anything like that. I was very limited with a SC3000 computer. That's Sega's first computer in the home market, and a dot matrix printer. You know those printers that go anyway. That was the very first bit of tech that I had to work with, and I ended up coming up with this, the Sega Times. And this is free, but that's only because it's the demo copy, isn't it? This is a limited edition. I lost all the copies of the magazines, by the way. Some clown threw them out, but I did manage to hold on to one or two issues, which is pretty cool. I wish I had them all, but I don't, unfortunately. So this one here, it's very basic. I mean, it is just printouts. I've got a thing that I was trying to do here, a Sega club. I wanted to form a club for people who are really into gaming. I gave an explanation here on how my reviews are formatted and how I rate my games. And oh, look at that. There's a review on Space Harrier 2 on the Mega Drive. I didn't call them reviews, they're examinations. I gave it 83%. That's a pretty solid rating, but back then that was kind of mid-okay. Always rated games higher than they were actually deserving of. But yeah, there was no way to get graphics on the page. And so a guy came along from a grey importer. I sent him a copy of this, and he was kind of like, I can help you out. I can make it better. And so we ended up getting to this. Now, this has got demo copies scribbled on it. But essentially, that's what the magazine ended up looking like towards the end. And you can kind of tell as soon as you open it up that the formatting is a lot better. There was more content, including, hang on if I can quickly get to it, including a price list from the guy. And you could buy Tetris on the Mega Drive for $85. Now look up how much that is worth in today's market. Yeah, I missed that opportunity. But yeah, this was including a walkthrough on how to get through Phantasy Star on the Master System, and an advert for the Game Gear. I was so pro Sega back then. Anyway, so I would be harassing and becoming really annoying to the people at Sega. Not boring, annoying. And I kept asking for a job. I wanted to leave high school and work there immediately. But that wouldn't happen. It just never came to be. Until the guy that was running the Sega hotline got fired. I don't know why he got fired, but he did. And they ended up getting a new manager on. And her first instructions were, whoever is sending these in, get them in here immediately. And that's how I got the job, isn't it? So now, 1991, November, I think it was. 2 weeks after leaving high school, I get a phone call and I get the interview, I get the job. And so I ended up working in this environment. So this is not the first office. This is the only videotape that I have of the hotline. And this was the Sega hotline back in 1992 summer. There's me. including some blonde tips, streaks, frosted tips. That watch, I would love to have that now. My Cuter Lines jacket, and also the badges, which I lost an X throughout all of them. So a couple of regrets from working at the hotline. Oh my god, a couple of regrets. That's Sega Master Tim. You can follow him on Twitter actually. I must have had a headache that day. I don't know why I've got the Panadols. So you can see we've got the computer in front of us. We didn't have like a Bible. I do have my folder. Ugh. This is my folder from when I was working at Sega. I made it myself. But yeah, we didn't get given an official folder or anything like that. So kind of a little disappointed that we never got that as a memento. And I never got an official uniform. I would have loved a Sega jacket to show off now and show for my time while working with the Hedgehog. So as you can see here, we got a very crude looking keyboard, and the tips are on the green screen, which I believe was not something that Nintendo had. They had to go through folders manually. And I would update this database. This was something that I actually learnt how to update and learnt how to use that very crude system. And I would make sure that anytime a new cheat mode would come across our desk, that I would get it in there so that the other guys could access it as well. I'll try and fast forward back to the hotline. There we go. That's Sega Master Tim. Proof that he actually worked at the hotline. And another thing is that you had to be a member of the Sega Club to get cheats. If you wanted cheats, you had to be a member. If you weren't a member, you could only get access to hints. I mean, I keep in touch with all these guys except that guy. That's George. Tried to reach out to him. I couldn't get a hold of him. He's kind of lost. That's like 30 years ago, so you expect that to happen. But this hotline, like just working in this environment, that's Sega Master Tim and Sega Master Nick. They're twins. That's the joke. We would watch cricket while taking hints, I should say, taking calls. The reception was really lousy, but we were desperate to watch the cricket. It was just a good environment. I really miss that environment. If I could get a job working in this hotline again today, I'd be in there in a heartbeat. But, you know, a thing called internet came along and basically made all this redundant. So yeah, that's basically how I ended up getting a job at Sega. I wanted to do this video again because, yeah, the video that I had up originally was a little bit rough around the edges, so I thought it was about time to redo this and explain how I got the job. So yeah, if you like the video and you want to see more of stuff like this, subscribe to the channel, let me know. And also, if you were to get a job at Nintendo or Sony or Xbox, how would you go about it? If you had no qualifications and you were just leaving high school, what would you do to try and get the attention of these guys so you can get a job working for one of these companies? Leave a comment down below. If you're watching this over on Twitter, follow the names that you can see above me. They're all been a bunch of good eggs. And if you're watching this over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment down below and like the video. My name's been Brian, and I've been gaming since Spacies. Thanks, guys.
Since Spacies.